Your your granddad, you know, you said obviously your grandparents like paid, you know, they played a very huge part into raising you in your childhood.
Mm.
Um, I also got sent something with, you know, like you got a picture of your granddad. I don't want to say his name. Obviously, I don't want to get his name wrong.
Mate.
Mate, your granddad. Yeah. Could we just,
Yeah.
obviously, you said he played a very key part into, you know, like getting you into nature when you was young. He used to go to nature with him. Like,
Yes.
could we speak about a little bit about that? Yeah, about your granddad a little bit and how when you was young, how he got you into nature. Because I think
Yeah, of course.
he was
Yeah, he
beautiful.
was. He loved to. Hmm, I suppose partly because him and my grandmother didn't get along much, and he would find any excuse to be out of the house. So
Okay.
he would just go out into the woods somewhere and just be in that sort of place.
Yeah.
And sometimes he would take me with him,
Mm. And to be fair,
and tell me
yeah,
about.
nature.
We'll just be out in the forest
Yeah.
walking, and then he will tell me about different plants and different animals or mushrooms, and just
Wilderness.
a what?
The wilderness.
The wilderness. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, um, some of your love for nature came from your granddad.
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
it makes absolute sense. You know, like freedom of the heart. When I say freedom of the heart, what does that mean to you?
Freedom of the heart.
Yeah.
Freedom of the heart is allowing your heart to be the boss and not let your minds overtake that. Putting the heart in the driver's seat and learning how to listen to your heart
Yeah.
and allow it to guide you. That is what freedom of the heart means to me.
Yeah. And just a random one, yeah. Do you feel like you know how we spoke about earlier about, you know, like your childhood, you feeling like you didn't belong earlier. Like now, you know, now obviously you're an adult, and do you sometimes feel like you don't belong in this world?
No.
Okay, let's talk about it. Because you know sometimes, you know, some people sometimes feel like they've been here before, or they don't belong, or you know, like different things. Sometimes people might think different things.
Well, if I didn't belong, then I wouldn't be here, right? Because
Hey, some people are here, but they still feel like they don't
nothing
belong. So
nothing is random,
mm, I like that, by the way.
everything exists for a reason, and that includes every single person who is on this planet. Nothing is by accident, so
Yeah.
no, I don't feel like I don't belong. I feel like I do.
Yeah. Do you feel like humans complicate life sometimes?
Yes, absolutely.
Why is that? Why do you think that?
That is because Western culture is teaching us to use our mind, and our mind is designed to, primarily biologically, our mind is designed to protect us from danger, and that served its purpose before modern society developed. But that is no longer the case, and I think it's safe to say maybe about 90% of the population of the world is living a fairly safe and comfortable life, because our mind is designed to look for problems. And if no danger or real threat is present for our lives,
Yeah.
we start to create those problems ourselves.
That sounds like some mental health issues.
What your hold on. because I've got what you just said. I've actually got it in my head.
She's deep. She's
But,
very deep. She'll make you think.
So, what you're saying, basically, is that we're trying to look for problems that are not even there
Some people.
Yeah.
right now. Or some people, or we design
Yeah.
like that nowadays.
Yeah,
And
like
maybe even the younger generation, not even the old, I wouldn't say like, well, there's all these generations that are being put, like millennials, Gen Z, and and all of that kind of stuff, yeah? So, all of those, we're basically trying to make problems for our society when we don't even need to.
yeah, absolutely. Like, oh, why don't I have this? Or
Yeah.
yeah.
We'll speak after, yeah?
I don't know. Like, what are the simplest examples? Or
Why
is this?
I could give you one.
All right, yeah, go ahead.
Kids with social media, or kids with iPads, and like kids getting on social media at the ages of below 10, or just by 10 o'clock, 10 years of age. You know, I find that a bit disturbing in a way.
Yeah, I can
because
see why. Yeah,
it kind of messes up their brains.
Yeah.
Which is something that we didn't have, and we had to get by without it. You know, yeah, we did have a few kind of things, but they weren't like how kids are now. And kids will cry about it now, or kids will genuinely cuss their mums or cuss their dads about it. I don't have this, I don't have this, why don't I have this, I'm getting bullied at school, or, you know, like, I think in a way that's when we got bullied at school, or if somebody tried to bully us at school, we had to deal with it.
Yeah.
And that was manually, not like kind of what's the word? What's the word? Socially, or like on social media or whatever.
Yeah.
Because everything will end up on social media anyway. So what are you gonna say about that?
Yeah, well, I don't know how it is for kids at the moment, but I imagine it must be really, really difficult with so much information at their fingertips and everything that comes with it. I mean, even for somebody who has biologically fully grown and fully developed as an adult physically, with a fully developed brain, it can be too much. But imagine what it must be like for a child.
Crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, a child learning about the world through this lens, through this screen.
That's it. Yeah.
Imagine what it must be like for them.
Not experiencing the real.
So, from one side, we could say, "Oh, look at these kids! They've got everything. They've got all of these things that we didn't have growing up." But at the same time, they have this huge, massive overwhelm that is a big part of their lives, and we don't know how to handle it because we didn't have it in our childhood. Like, for example, if you're at the age of being a parent, you didn't have a smartphone with social media when you were growing up. you grew up differently. So if your child is growing up with a smartphone and social media, you don't know how to handle it because you didn't have it,
I always.
right? So you don't. We
What
yeah,
about?
we can see that. Okay, we're feeling disturbed about the way that these kids are growing up, but we at the same time we have to try and put ourselves in their shoes and you know,
The question for me is,
ask ourselves how it must be like for them. You know,
I've never thought
ask
about it like
them. Ask them.
Would you say
how-
the parents have got a big part to play in
Bingo.
that,
Then
that thing?
that's what I was about to say. Yeah? Let me say this quickly.
Possibly, yeah, because
Because
I've seen some of my colleagues at work, or she'll have like a young baby, and the baby would cry because she's tired, but they can't go home yet because she's out with me, spending time together, connecting, but the baby will start get moody and cranky and start crying, so she will just give her the phone,
Or the
give her the
iPad.
phone to watch
just-
Coco Melon.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
You know?
Cocomelon. Yeah, it's the most famous one.
yeah,
Cocomelon, yeah.
Yeah. And then the baby will learn. Well, when I cry, I'll get to watch Coco Melon. So I'm gonna keep crying until I get to watch Coco Melon because that's what I want to do.
Yeah, that is Coco Melon. Jesus Christ.
You know.
Yeah, I say, and even I want to ask before we conclude this conversation. Yeah, I want to ask you something. Yeah, because
Sure.
you know like when we say spirituality, once again, spirits. When we say like some people call it where we come from, some people call it witchcraft or voodoo and things like that, yeah. And for me, I've got this thing where I see, again, I'm a curious person. I always want to understand and know, yeah. And I've got this thing where when I see certain people, yeah, who maybe these people that I'm talking about, maybe they're innocent and they're just trying to spiritually connect in a good way, like we said. But sometimes I think to myself, like when I see people like a lot of different people who try to basically connect within themselves, like using candles, using all certain things, stones and different things, yeah. I just have one question that I want to ask, like, certain people is like, how do you know? Because once again, spirits, some spirits, you can either get good spirits or bad spirits, right? And sometimes I think to myself, like, how do some people know that the kind of spirits they're trying to call? How do some people know that whatever they're doing with the candles and all of these things, how do some of these people know that they're actually not calling bad spirits on themselves rather than good spirits? You understand where I'm coming from? Because obviously all of these things in the spiritual realm, it's all energies, right? So, for example, me, if I'm trying to connect with myself, my higher self, and obviously I see some of these things maybe online, or some people tell me do this, do that. If I try to do all of some ceremonies or whatever, yeah, to try, like the question is, when I'm doing all of these things, yeah, how do I really, really know that I'm not calling bad spirits onto myself rather than good spirits? If you get what I'm trying to say, because all of these are spirits, energies, so forth. You got what I'm trying to say? So, like, for you personally, when you do, like, some of your personal ceremonies and some of the things that you do, like, I don't know if you ever kind of thought about that aspect in terms of, like, how do you know what kind of spirits you're kind of trying to connect with? If you get what I'm trying to say, you got what I'm trying to say? Because, once again, as Africans, we've got some people back home, they call it voodoo or witchcraft, you got what I'm trying to say? And the same kind of things that I see with these people that are trying to do like bad things in a spiritual way, they use kind of the same kind of things sometimes, in it, like candles and all of these kind of ceremonies. So for me online, sometimes now when I see people, like great people who I actually see like that person is coming from a good place, like people like you and a lot of people, like I think to myself, how do you know though that all of these ceremonies that you're doing, you're not actually, not to keep repeating myself, but do you understand what I'm trying to say though?
Yeah, I understand.
Because sometimes I just think to myself, like, be careful what you might try to be tapping into, or what energies you might attract on yourself, because like we said, bad spirits and good spirits are out there. So it's like, like, have you ever thought about this in terms of like, like with some of the things that you do as well, to just try to, continue with your spiritual journey? Like, have you ever thought about this, bad spirits and good spirits in general?
Not until you mentioned it, actually.
Yeah, but I hope I'm clear
No.
in terms of what you're trying.
I understand what your
Yeah.
question is. I understand
Yeah.
what you're asking, but
Yeah.
I don't have the answer for you.
Yeah.
I personally have never experienced an
Yeah.
encounter with a lot of bad spirits.
Yeah, because I think maybe, I don't know, maybe I
So
overthink.
I would say that it is important to learn how to protect yourself and your energy.
Yeah.
And then go from there.
Yeah, and then go from there, because it just, again, just something random.
Can I just put
Yeah.
something on that? It's just like going out. Like if you go out on a night out
Yeah.
and you meet a group of people,
Mhm.
and once you encounter that group of people, your energy does not match with their energy. They're completely on a different kind of wavelength to what you're on. I'm not gonna engage with those people, because do you know why? I want to keep my, it may be a negative energy, it may be a positive energy as well, yeah, but it just may not be the type of group that I want to be in at the time. Regardless whether you've been drinking or you've been, just having fun and you're normal, so I tend to take it that way, because I like to keep my energy, and I never go to, let's say, a group of people, and let's say, especially when I'm out, and then go and engage with people that I don't even know from anywhere, and their energy's off completely from mine, but because I'm with somebody that's telling me in the background, oh yeah, come on man, they're gonna buy us drinks, they're gonna
We need it out of town, by the way. We need to.
Yeah. I'm not gonna do that. So I just focus on that. So I think that's where the energy thing comes from. You need, like you said, you need to protect your energy.
Yeah.
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 You
100%.
need to protect your energy, and that will get you through everything else that you need to know.
Mm-hmm. No, because like, again, like, I keep on repeating myself. I'm just curious, like when I see so many different souls, so many different people, like online with, like just trying to basically work it out, like in a spiritual way, trying to, like to tap into their higher self, like I keep on saying. And there's a lot of these different things that people do. And like I just said, I just think to myself sometimes, like hopefully hopefully whatever you're trying to tap into is good energies, because the last thing I would want people to do, hopefully, like to imagine if you're innocent trying to tap into your higher self, whatever, but you do some of these ceremonies, but you end up getting bad spirits instead.
But you shouldn't be doing ceremonies anyway.
People do a lot of different stuff. We see on social media.
Yeah, you
a lot of
shouldn't be
different
doing
things and stuff.
ceremonies. Just allow the energies to come and embrace you.
Yeah.
I believe that it all starts with intention, so if you are, for example, so if you are, for example, performing a ritual for yourself, something personal, there's a protocol to be followed, and if you go to a place in nature to perform this ritual, you start by introducing yourself and stating your intention and asking for permission, and you have to really tap in and listen for an answer, and then respect that answer. Sometimes you get the go ahead from the spirit of place, and sometimes it's a no, and you have to really listen and honor that. And once you have the permission to carry out your ritual, you start by acknowledging the 7 directions,
Mm-hmm.
and then calling in your spirit guides. And I don't believe that anyone would call in any bad spirits.
Yeah.
Because you go with,
Good
you say
intentions.
what your intention is, and you just follow that through.
Yeah. Saying goodbye to old patterns. When I say that, how's that going for you in your reality? That process, however it looks, saying goodbye to old patterns.
It's going. It's going. It's not easy, and it's uncomfortable. I'm still feeling some resistance to it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to ease into it as best as I can.
Yeah. What's you know that through your beautiful journey, yeah, this journey that you're going on, yeah, what's been one of the most challenging things to let go? If there's things, or maybe you can just tell us one, because I feel like all of us, like we we go through this battle of maybe letting certain people go, certain things, like you said earlier, maybe alcohol or smoking. It could, there's so many different things in this crazy world, right? That once we go on this journey, it's like you said earlier, it's like by the way, once again, that was a beautiful story about the owl earlier. You know, when you spoke about the beak, you know, when the owl goes
Or
through
the great eagle.
the great eagle. That was a beautiful story. So it's like in a human form, when we're going through our journeys, there's certain things that obviously we need to let go, and sometimes we find it difficult, right? So for you, like, what's been one of the most difficult things for you to let go? Or even maybe now, you're still finding it difficult to let go. But yeah, or you've completely let that go, but it was when you was going through that process, it was very difficult. What's that one thing?
Well, it's not just one thing. Sorry to break it to
What,
you.
is there like a million
but
things?
the first thing that comes to mind is letting go of the attachment to a certain outcome that I desire. So there will be maybe like a person that I would feel very drawn to, and I would feel like a connection to them, and naturally I would want to spend more time with that person and develop a relationship with them. But that might not necessarily be the case for the other person. So I would be in a place of why is this happening, right? Why is it that I feel this connection and the other person doesn't? You know, it's been difficult to accept, because I would still desire this type of connection, and I wouldn't be able to let go of that attachment of wanting to be with that person,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Absolutely. You know, sometimes when you feel like that, do you ever feel like maybe God or the universe is saving me from what was not meant to be for me? Because sometimes we can look at it in two ways. Either look at it in a positive way, like, you know what, maybe God or the universe is saving me from this person, and later on, this person wasn't going to be good for me. Or it's just like sometimes our mind, once again, like what we were talking about earlier, maybe our mind sometimes can play tricks on us to be like, maybe I'm not good enough. You understand where I'm coming from? So maybe sometimes you've got a choice, and how you want to think about it. Is it because of this, or is it because of that? Because for me, like, the older I'm getting now as well, once again, yeah, I always look at it like God or the universe is saving me from, because so much things that I've been through, where, you know, relationships and work, friendships, you know, intimate relationships. So now, like I told you earlier, I don't I don't care about what other people think of me, whatever. I know I'm doing work on myself, and I know overall I'm a good guy. I'm a good person. So if I try to get with somebody or a friendship doesn't work out because I'm doing the work on myself, me now I'm in the state of thinking, yeah, maybe the universe is saving me from something. Now I'm never thinking, oh, I'm not good enough. No, 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 no. Maybe it was not meant to be. You get what I'm trying to say? Maybe it was not meant to be, or later on down the line, the universe is saving me from what would have been a disaster. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Or maybe that person was brought into your life for a reason, to teach you something.
You see, there's so many different ways we can look at it.
To teach you not to be with that kind of person in the future.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, well, the thing is, everything has got a purpose to it.
Yeah. Last thing I want us to touch
Yes.
on. Oh, sorry, go on. Would you say something? Sorry, cut you.
No.
Okay, just last thing I want us to touch on before we conclude is just a quick touch on psychedelics and magic mushrooms. Like, what's been your experience if you've ever gone on that journey in terms of like psychedelics? Obviously, there's a lot of different psychedelics, right? But specifically, like if you've ever taken magic mushrooms. But yeah, what's been your experience? Because I want to get involved. Well, I've been saying this for like 10 years, but soon I'll get involved.
Well, I suppose I've not actually had mushrooms.
Oh no, you haven't tried them before.
I have microdosed, but I
Okay.
have not had like a proper
Trip.
psychedelic experience
Okay.
with mushrooms. No, I've had synthetic drugs.
What's
when I
that
was
for the people that
younger.
don't? Synthetic drug. What's that for the people that don't know what it is?
Synthetic drugs are man-made
Okay.
drugs
Okay.
through chemicals. So there will be drugs like ecstasy,
Okay, things like that.
yeah, and other things like that.
Would you ever like, because obviously some people always say like those people who have gone on to take magic mushrooms and gone on these trips with psychedelics, I'm sure you know ayahuasca and all of these other things. So many people come out with stories of their experiences and how they look at life after after taking like these trips and whatnot. Like, moving forward in future, would you like to try any of these psychedelics, like I said, ayahuasca or any of these things, to just see, like, because so many people, like I said, come out with these so-called inspiring stories. I see different now, I'm a changed person. You hear all of these stories, so it's like, would you ever be open to trying them moving
Yeah.
forward?
Yeah, sure, why not?
You know what I mean?
But I don't want to do it just for the sake of doing it. I would do it in the right setting, at the right time, with the right people, in the right time.
Yeah. To conclude, like, sometimes we do it and sometimes we don't do it. So, like, to conclude, yeah, would you if you got any message to say to yourself, not to your younger self, but to your future self?
To my future self.
Yes. What message would you have to say to your future self? 10 years down the line, 15 years down the line, when this platform will get even more bigger and this clip surfaces again 10 years, 15 years down the line, what message would you like to say to yourself, your future self?
I told you this was gonna be fun. This is what I would say to my future self.
Yeah.
I like that.
Absolutely brilliant.
That one.
Polina, thank you so much. I mean, before I conclude, do you have anything maybe that you want to quickly touch on? Or it could be something simple, random, anything? Or we're good?
There's nothing I can think of now. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me here, and thank you for having this conversation with me. It's been a pleasure.
It's been an absolute pleasure, honestly. Thank you so much. And, we hope to have you back on the red chair, in the future, to just have some more of these beautiful conversations.
Touch base.
Absolutely,
how
touch
we're doing.
base. Absolutely. It would be beautiful to sit down with you again, hopefully soon in the near future. But until then, Peace and love, yeah? Reality Team TV, we
Yeah.
back. We back. Peace and love, people.